The stadium lights were still buzzing when Shedeur Sanders made his move. No celebrating in the middle of the field, no cameras, no chest bumps. Instead, the rookie quarterback walked straight down the tunnel and locked eyes with the loudest critic in the building. "Why are you always so negative on me?" he asked. Calm, direct, no venom, no theatrics. Just the scoreboard still fresh in everyone's mind and the stat sheet still warm in his hands. It was the kind of moment Cleveland fans didn't see coming. Minutes earlier, Sanders had carved up an NFL defense in his first real shot, looking nothing like a fifth-round pick with limited first-team reps. But instead of letting the numbers speak for themselves, he decided to speak too. Not to boast, but to challenge. That one question didn't just stun the man he was talking to, it stunned the city. Because in a town used Shedeur Sanders didn't enter the NFL with the fanfare of a top-5 pick. There were no massive draft night celebrations on national TV, no endless highlight packages declaring him the next franchise savior. Instead, his name was called deep in the draft, a fifth-round selection that many analysts brushed aside with phrases like developmental project and needs time. The Panthers didn't bring him in to be a day-one starter. He opened camp buried on the depth chart, taking fourth-string reps, throwing mostly to practice squad receivers against vanilla scout team defenses. Every pass, every decision felt like an audition just to stay in the building. For months, Sanders was more rumor than reality, a name fans saw on the roster but never in the headlines. But behind the scenes, he was working, quietly, relentlessly, studying film late into the night, picking apart defensive tendencies, learning how to weaponize his accuracy in tighter windows. So when the opportunity finally came, it wasn't luck. It was months of invisible work crashing into one very visible moment. Game day in Charlotte didn't start with confidence, it started with questions. The Panthers' starting quarterback was sidelined, and the depth chart pointed straight to Shedeur Sanders. For some fans, that felt less like a solution and more like a gamble. Sports radio callers doubted he could handle a full-speed NFL pass rush. Analysts pointed to his limited preseason action and wondered if the moment would be too big. Social media threads were full of armchair scouting reports. College stats don't mean much here. His arm talent is fine, but can he read a pro defense? Even inside the stadium, you could feel it. The buzz wasn't electric, it was cautious. People weren't expecting fireworks, they were bracing for growing pains. But Sanders didn't carry any of that weight onto the field. If he felt the pressure, he hit it well. During warm-ups, his throws were crisp, his eyes steady. He jogged back to the tunnel, helmet tucked under his arm, as if this was just another Saturday in Boulder. The whispers were still there, but in less than an hour, they'd be drowned out by something no one saw coming. From the opening snap, it was clear. This wasn't going to be a manage-the-game kind of performance. Sanders came out firing. No timid checkdowns, no safe throws to the flat. His first drive featured a laser over the middle that threaded between two defenders, hitting his receiver in stride for a first down that made the crowd gasp. By the second series, he was diagnosing blitzes like a seasoned veteran, sliding protections and releasing the ball before defenders even had a chance to close. His pocket movement was fluid, almost surgical. A quick step here, a shoulder dip there, buying just enough time to unleash another strike. The moment that truly flipped the energy came late in the first quarter. Facing third and long, Sanders rolled right under heavy pressure and launched a pinpoint sideline throw that somehow dropped just over the cornerback's fingertips. First down, crowd roaring, sideline alive. What had started as cautious observation quickly turned into wide-eyed disbelief. In a single quarter, Sanders had gone from unproven rookie to hold on, we might have something here. And for Cleveland's defense, the shock was just beginning. Big performances turn heads. But in the NFL, respect from the top matters just as much as stats. And after Sanders' first half display, the message from the Panthers sideline was loud and clear. We've got your back. Head coach Frank Reich didn't just clap after big throws. He was in Sanders' ear between drives, breaking down coverages and trusting him with full field reads. No shrinking the playbook, no playing it safe. It was a vote of confidence you don't always see with rookies making their debut. On the other end of the headset, the offensive coordinator dialed up plays that let Sanders use his arm talent, mixing deep shots with timing routes. The message? They weren't protecting him, they were unleashing him. Even veterans took notice. Receivers fought for extra yards. Linemen held their blocks a second longer, and the defense on the bench stood up after every big completion. It wasn't just about one guy playing well. It was about a team leaning in, buying into the moment. By halftime, Sanders wasn't just filling in. He was leading, and everyone from the locker room to the owner's box knew it. By the time the players filed into the locker room at halftime, the energy was different. This wasn't the quiet, tense atmosphere you sometimes get when a backup is under center. It was loud, not from celebrating too early, but from the belief buzzing through the room. Veterans who had barely spoken to Sanders in camp were now clapping him on the back, offering quick pointers, and more importantly, trust. Offensive linemen leaned in close during adjustments, telling him, "We'll keep you clean, just keep slinging it." Receivers nodded when he called routes. No hesitation, no second guessing. One defensive captain put it plainly, "You keep doing that and we'll get you the ball back." That's not just encouragement, that's commitment from the other side of the ball. And Sanders? He wasn't soaking in the praise or acting like the moment was bigger than it was. He just smiled, nodded, and went right back to the whiteboard, already talking about reads for the next series. In that room, under those fluorescent lights, the switch had flipped. He wasn't just the rookie filling a role. He was their quarterback. In the NFL, you can fake a handshake, but you can't fake respect, especially from the guys who've been trying to hit you all afternoon. And when the final whistle blew, Cleveland's defenders didn't walk past Sanders like he was just another rookie. They stopped. They talked. Some even smiled. One linebacker, a Pro Bowler with a reputation for trash talk, tapped Sanders on the helmet and said, "You're gonna be a problem." That's not something you hand out lightly, especially to a newcomer who just sliced through your secondary. A defensive back who'd been jawing at him earlier in the game gave him a quick shoulder bump, muttering, "You stayed poised, kid. Respect." Those little moments might not make the stat sheet, but they matter in a league where reputation builds faster than numbers. Even in the tunnel, where words are usually short and tempers still cooling, Cleveland players nodded as he walked past. No glares, no cheap shots, just quiet acknowledgement. For a quarterback making his real NFL debut, earning respect from your own sideline is one thing. Earning it from the guys paid to stop you? By the time Sanders had showered, dressed, and walked into the post-game press room, the buzz had already spread beyond Charlotte. Clips of his throws were trending on social media. Analysts were scrambling to update talking points, and hashtags with his name were climbing the charts. ESPN ran split-screen highlights before the late games had even started. One side showing his pocket poise, the other replaying that tunnel exchange with Cleveland's critic. Sports radio lines lit up with callers saying they'd never seen a rookie look that comfortable that fast. Even the usually reserved beat reporters leaned forward, firing questions not about the one game, but about what this meant for the season. Is he the answer? Can he lead them into a playoff push? It wasn't just curiosity. In the span of a single afternoon, Sanders went from filling a depth chart spot to being the headline. And in today's NFL, once the media hype train starts rolling, it's almost impossible to slow down. The NFL moves fast. One great debut can make you the talk of the week, But the real test is what happens next. And for Sanders, next comes on Friday night, a primetime matchup where every camera, every analyst, and every defensive coordinator will be watching. The opponent? A top-5 defense known for disguising blitzes and rattling young quarterbacks. They've already had 4 days to study his tape, pick apart his tendencies, and craft a game plan to make him uncomfortable. This isn't just another game. It's a chess match against a defense built to expose flaws. For Sanders, the stakes are huge. Another strong performance could cement his spot as the unquestioned starter and silence any lingering doubts from draft day. But a shaky showing could have the critics circling, ready to say his debut was just a flash in the pan. The Panthers' locker room knows it too. The veterans are rallying behind him, coaches are tightening the game plan, and the entire city is buzzing for a Friday night showcase. 1 week can make you famous in the NFL. 2 weeks? That's how you start a legacy. Shedeur Sanders, for one night, he answered with precision throws, poise under pressure, and the kind of leadership you can't fake. But the NFL is a ruthless proving ground. Great first impressions fade fast, and history is littered with rookies who had one big game before vanishing from the spotlight. Friday night will be different. The film is out, the defenses will adjust, and we'll see if Sanders can adjust right back. But whether you believe in him or not,